Welcome to Florida Gators Live, episode number 56. And the college football playoff bracket is finally here. And what a surprise it was. I know
Mhm.
after last night, after Duke won, Indiana pulled the upset. That was a surprise in itself as well. And Bama got beaten down by Georgia. Everyone thought the question was, is it Bama or Miami? And it turns out, no, it was Miami or Notre Dame. And I want to get your thoughts on this because Notre Dame was the heavy betting favorite to get in. I
Mhm.
mean, they were like minus thousands, according to betting odds and stuff to get in. And then Bama was like minus 300 and Miami was like plus 200 or something. So I want to get what are your thoughts on specifically that part of the bracket that came out?
Yeah, well, honestly, like the only reason I am surprised is because of how steep those odds were. Because to be honest, this is kind
Yeah,
of what I expected them to do. If you asked me last night, this is what I would have said. I didn't think they were going to bounce Bama. I think,
no,
first of all, it's Bama. Like I think that doesn't
yeah,
need to be elaborated upon. It's Bama. But also, I mean, just the precedent it was set. I mean, it probably would have been the end of conference championship games. I think it would have spurred a bunch of future opt-outs for those, so I think that would have been something they wanted to avoid. But I think they were setting up for the Miami Notre Dame swap. I think they've been kind of hinting that this is what they want to do for weeks
yeah,
now, because they keep saying, the head-to-head that matters when the teams are next to each other. Well, what happens when BYU loses? So that to me was what I expected to happen. If BYU lost, I thought it was maybe Miami and Notre Dame would both get in and Bama at Bama's expense. That was, I thought, was possible. I did not really think they were going to put Notre Dame in over Miami. So I was surprised to see that, the odds were so steep last night. Dude, I wanted to bet it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not a big betting guy, but when I saw
mhm.
those odds, I was like, man, I don't think they're going to put Notre Dame in over Miami. And they obviously didn't. So no real hot takes. I think that was an understandable decision. I think they could have gone either way, but I understand the respecting the head-to-head there. So no real complaints about that on my end.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that they dropped BYU because they didn't drop Bama.
Yeah.
Ohio State fell below Indiana, but that makes sense for logical
I'm
reasons.
surprised they only fell to 2. I thought they would fall to 3.
Yeah, I that was when I saw Ohio State was 2 and then Bama was 9. I was convinced that Notre Dame was going to be 10 because it didn't affect the other teams that lost.
Mm-hmm.
But they affected BYU, and then it came down to that tiebreaker of the head-to-head. And I mean, I don't know. Obviously I'm going to be biased. I don't want Miami in the playoff. I mean, going to College Station is not going to be it's not going to be an easy game for them to say. But we'll make our playoff predictions a little bit later on in the show. I did want to bring up the Jags, another dominant win over the Colts at home.
That's right.
Jacksonville is just a house of horrors for the Colts. You go out there and Daniel Jones gets hurt on the third drive of the game or second drive, third drive.
The third, because he led a touchdown drive the second drive.
Yeah.
And then he threw a pick, then touchdown drive, then injured. Yeah.
Yeah, so your starting QB gets injured on that third drive. He was already hurt, and he hurts his other leg too. And I don't know what the results of that have been, or what the injury is. But
I mean, it's Achilles, and he was out for the game. I anticipate he will not be back this year.
No, I mean, it felt bad the way he was slamming his helmet on the ground.
He knew what he did the moment it happened. So you hate to see that. Always when it's like a non-contact thing like that, that's rarely anything good. So yeah, but I mean, I was there. It was a lot of fun. Just got back from that a few minutes ago, and it was a very ugly day. It was rainy. I got completely soaked. Jeans had to go through the dryer when we got back from the game, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's why. Oh, we were late, chat.
Yeah. Couple minutes. Yeah, we're running a couple minutes late, but hey, it was like 7:00. It was like 7:04. We did all right.
Yeah, Daniel Barry here. Happy Sunday, Daniel. Bubba Tyler is my favorite. That's what we always love to hear. Mm-hmm. But let's get to our first segment of the show today.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to talk about players that not only do we want to retain, but players we think we must retain. Mm-hmm. Now, when you have a new coaching staff come in, I mean, we saw with Indiana and Coach Signetti, you don't need to retain any players. You can just bring in any single player and have success, it seems, at a high level. for Indiana. But obviously, there's going to be an advantage in keeping players on our roster, some high level players on this roster. I think the most obvious one is Jaden Ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And from what it seems, not much chatter about him transferring at all. I know I saw a Texas article, Texas reporter put out an article saying that they want him, but Florida's going all out to keep him, which aligns with what I suspect is going to happen. So I think we're going to be able to keep Ball. Anything can happen, but it's not like the ETN situation where everyone knew ETN was leaving when the season ended. And it was already heavily rumored he was going to Georgia. So that was never a thing that we were like, oh, will we keep him? Will we not? Like, no, we knew ETN was gone pretty much right away. But compared to Ball, not really any rumbles about him leaving. He was at the Summerall press conference. No, he wasn't at the Summerall press conference, but I did tweet, I'm pretty sure, about him. But and everything I've heard just seems like Jaden Ball will be staying. So that will be a big retainee if we can keep him.
Yeah, I agree. Baugh is also, I'd say, number one on my list. And I think that says a lot about Baugh because I'm very much a positional value guy when it comes to running backs.
Yep.
I think good running backs, generally speaking, dime a dozen, typically in the NFL or in college, not worth investing in. He's an exception here. He's the college equivalent to a Saquon level player, just in terms of how Baugh can rip off 6 yards when there's nothing there in a way that very few guys can. And I think if Florida can put a more successful offense around him next year, you could have a guy that's they're kind of different players, but a guy that's Jeremiah Love level impact. I think you could get out of him next year, especially if you feed him. We did a lot of splitting carries. He had a lot of 10, 12 carry games. If you can feed him a little more next year, he can be extremely productive. So yeah, I agree. I think that is number one, just because I think that is a guy that you really are going to struggle to replace in the portal just because he's such a game changer.
Did Jamal Haynes get hurt this year?
No. He might have. I don't think did he have a good year? Because I don't really remember.
Okay, he played in 10 games, went for 500 yards.
Okay.
His senior year. So yeah, I mean, he only played in 10 games. So yeah. So not a great season. No. So I was about to come and say, I mean, Buster Faulkner, we'll talk about him later on.
He did have almost 250 yards receiving though.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. So, it went for over near 750 total yards there. But Jamal Haynes had 1,000 yards in 23 and went for 944 and 1,866 receiving in 2024. My point being, Buster Faulkner knows how to get the best out of his players. I mean, you look at Eric Singleton at Auburn. Did Eric Singleton even go for over 300 yards this year? I feel like I didn't hear about him a single time. He had one good game.
Yeah,
maybe.
He definitely wasn't as impactful as Cam Coleman was. He had 500. He had 58 for 534. Actually, so a pretty good, pretty solid. I mean, not as good as the year he had last year, but not a drastic difference than what he did last year at Georgia Tech.
The difference is he also added 131 rushing yards.
Yeah.
So that's nearly 400 yards more than what he put on this year. But my point, Buster Faulkner, the new offensive coordinator, knows how to get the best out of his good players. So you retain Ball, and if our pass offense does struggle, even if it doesn't, Ball will still be getting plenty of carries and probably being put in a good position to do so.
Yep, no doubt.
I'm going to ask you.
I would say, or is it who's my number two?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, because I was about to go into who it was. I'd say it's probably Jaden Woods, if I'm being honest.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I guess part of it is I think Miles Graham is just good, or just good in terms of I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, he's staying.
I don't really worry about that one. So he would probably be my number two in if it were a concern, but it's just not. So I would say Jaden Woods is my number two, just because, I mean, you got to a point late in the year where Jaden Woods was your pass rush. I mean, that maybe is exaggerating things a little bit, but he really was taking over there as a true freshman. I think the potential, especially in, and we'll get into the coordinator hires in a little bit, but in, under a system like what Brad White has run at Kentucky the last few years, I think this guy could be poised to have a really nice season. I mean, you're talking about the coach who, as an outside linebackers coach, developed Josh Allen of the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2018 at Kentucky. Or maybe develop's not fair, but coached him his final year, which was his best year. So I think that, to me, like, having a piece there at the edge, I think on defense with what you're set to lose on that side of the ball, not even factoring in the portal, just the guys that are moving on after this year. I think having a guy like Jaden Woods back would be so massive.
Yeah, Jaden Woods, and our defense wasn't necessarily designed to get pressure. Last year at the end of the year, we had so much pressure with Caleb Banks, Tyreek Sapp, and TJ Searcy, but Banks doesn't play for a majority of the season. So you lost your interior pressure, really. With some good, solid players, but you don't have a Caleb Banks outside of Caleb Banks in that interior room. So the edge room was really the only place that could have gotten pressure, but we didn't bring many blitzes, didn't bring many bodies. But Jaden Woods was still able to go for 3.5 sacks. I remember that Miami game, he was getting held a good bit too. I know he had one of his best sacks of the season in that game. But no, I agree with you, especially you look at our edge room. You're going to be bringing in KJ Ford. And I assume we're going to go and transfer another player at that jack position specifically, because that's going to be only 2 players. So I would assume they have a third player. You would want 3 in that room. I should say I expect LJ McCray to transfer. That's a name can kind of hit on there, but LJ McCray, I would expect to transfer given the dollar tag we're paying him in. Just hasn't produced. It hasn't been healthy enough. I mean, in the little time he's played, it's not like he's shown some unbelievable flashes. Kind of just been out there, which, again, for a young player, isn't necessarily a bad thing. But the fact that you haven't done anything, mostly just been hurt. Like, Jaden Woods has shown a lot more than what we saw from LJ McCray. So if we get McCray for a cheaper deal, I wouldn't be complaining about keeping him. But at this point, I would be a bit shocked if McCray was still on this team.
Well, because it's approaching, like, I mean, it's not quite free agency, like NFL free agency, but it is. I think it was actually Eli Drinkwitz that broke this down. I thought was interesting to hear a coach say it like this, because I've never really heard a coach be candid about this aspect of it. But, like, basically saying, like, look, you have a slotted amount for each position, and if you overpay at one, you got to take it from the other. Like, this isn't baseball. You know, they're not just throwing cash around. There are rough limits they have to work within. So it's like, I'm not saying I don't want LJ McCray on the team next year. It's just, you have to look at it and be like, is paying this guy who, even if he hasn't produced, is a former 5-star, is going to carry a decent NIL payday, especially just because of the position he plays. Is that is that the best use of your resources? I think you'd be hard pressed to argue yes. Again, unless he took a very friendly NIL deal, which I don't think he has any reason to, frankly.
And now, something maybe I'm wrong about here. I feel like there's just 2 players we got mixed up. LJ McCray and Kelby Collins. They tried to move Kelby Collins inside when he should have been an edge rusher. And they moved LJ McCray to edge when he probably should have been a DND tackle. Like, I feel like if those 2 players just switched what they were doing, I mean, I can't guarantee it. Maybe I'm wrong, as I said, but I think at least one of those guys probably would have had a bit better success. I mean, Kelby Collins is in year 3 at Bama now. He didn't do anything for Bama this year. I don't know even if he even played more than 2 games this year, but
surprised he stuck around there that long, to be honest with you.
This is his first year at Bama, right?
Never mind. I thought you said, I thought he's been there at least 2. Am I wrong?
Maybe. Let's double check.
Was he on the team last year? He was not on the Gators last year, right? Am I going crazy?
Maybe I'm crazy. Hold on, that's a great question.
You're absolutely right. He was on the team last year.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going crazy.
Like, he's a junior because Jakeem Jackson. Yeah.
He only played in 6 games last year. Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like if you switch those 2 guys out, you probably hit on one of them at their more than likely correct position there. Brian Fisher here. Jaden Woods is Micah Parsons. You know, I would love for that to be true. I'm not going to say that much, but we are high on Jaden Woods, so maybe he can develop into that.
Impossible to disprove at this point in time. We cannot disprove that Jaden Woods is Mike Parsons.
And this goes straight into Lagway. Faulkner is a QB whisperer who will make DJ the 5-star he's supposed to be. He sent Stetson Bennett to New York. Lagway's a player that is a really interesting story because it's someone who's shown the talent, unlike McCray, who's shown that talent on the field. That's like, oh man, when he hits, he hits. But we've also seen that floor, the LSU game, the Kentucky game, the Miami game. We have seen the floor for DJ Lagway, and it's some of the worst QB play in all of college football. So it's one of those things to where, do you want to retain that? Now, I mentioned those games. 2 of them were in the first month of the season. He played better. He had the horrible Kentucky game, but everyone played horrible that Kentucky game. So that's on him. That's on some other players. Like, he threw 3 interceptions, which no excuse for that. But he did play a bit better as you saw him get healthier and get more wrapped into the offense. So I don't think Lagway is going to be leaving. I'm pretty confident that Lagway will return. I think the question more is, what QB do we bring in? Do we bring in another quarterback in the portal to maybe that can come and compete with Lagway? Or is Tramel Jones the guy? I know Aaron Philo, the backup quarterback for Georgia Tech, is a name that Georgia Tech fans have said they're pretty worried about following Buster Faulkner, as that is his guy. And that's supposed to be their QB for next year. And when you look at it, I don't know how good Philo is right now. He played a little bit last year, or a good bit last year. He was solid as a freshman. But we don't know what level he really is right now. Like, if Philo's a transfer, and let's say he doesn't go to Florida, where is he going? Like, is he going to start for another SEC team?
No.
Probably not. So I think if you can retain Lagway and bring Philo in, I think that would be a really good situation, because you have Lagway, you're hopefully getting a fully healthy Lagway, or as healthy as Lagway can be, with Buster Faulkner's development. And just in case if that doesn't work, you bring in Philo, who's someone that Faulkner has put into a system for 2 years at this point, and it would be 3 years by next year. That worst case is probably going to be a really good runner. And, you let him just get the ball to our weapons in space. Like, that works out. But maybe he even develops into being a really good quarterback. So I think if you can bring in or Tramel Jones can just develop, I'm fine with keeping Lagway, because that potential is there and we've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you keep Lagway, I think you have to do that. You have to, even if it's not Philo, you have to bring in a contingency plan transfer, because fact of the matter is,
Harrison
DJ
Bailey
is very. Was that
Harrison Bailey?
A better contingency plan transfer? I mean, Harrison Bailey was honestly, Harrison Bailey was actually, because I wanted them to take a portal quarterback this past offseason too. He basically fit the exact profile of what I was looking for. He just obviously wasn't the guy, because he got beat out by a couple different players for the backup job. But I think you have, because we've seen Lagway. We know there's the chance that Lagway is just not very good. Like, we know that's a possibility.
Yep.
And I think Tramel, we haven't seen enough to really know what we have there. And obviously this staff hasn't either, because they didn't recruit him. And same with Will Griffin, who we'll see. I don't really expect Will Griffin to be ready to play next year at all. So I don't think he really factors into this question.
I mean, hey,
Lagway
Tebow was playing year 1.
Was that?
I said Tebow was playing year 1, and Griffin was breaking some of Tebow's records. So
that's true. Yeah, but John Brantley broke Tebow's records too. So no, I mean, I think my kind of thing is, like, with Lagway, he's interesting because he's one of the few guys that there has been some reporting about pursuits. I saw On3 reported that he's sort of shopping himself around, that Texas Tech and Baylor. You didn't see that? Did you not see this?
No, I've seen Lagway say he's a Gator.
On3 reported that Lagway is expected to pursue, check around to see what his interest is.
Are you sure that wasn't No 3?
I'm positive. I read the article.
Oh, okay. Hey, yeah. I mean, maybe Sammy's elevating his game to get fake articles.
But it was Zach Abelverdi, I believe, who reported it.
When was that?
But also reported that Texas Tech and Baylor would make a run at him if he entered the portal. So, so that's what I would say. That's what I would say I would be watching there. I mean, honestly, where I land with Lagway is totally 50-50. Like, if look, I think there's reason to think that Lagway could be pretty successful in a Buster Faulkner offense. I think there's reason to think it suits his skill set. At the same time, if Lagway decides he wants to go walk and catch a bag at Baylor or Texas Tech or whatever, that's fine. I don't worry about. I mean, just think about what Haynes King was. Think about the product Haynes King was coming out of the portal and what Buster Faulkner did with him.
Yeah.
I think I think he'll be able to find a successful quarterback next year, one way or another.
That's what I thought was so funny when people are looking at Brett or Buster Faulkner and Brent Key, and they say, "Hey, is he just attached to one quarterback?"
Dude, calling him a Haynes King merchant makes me want to lose my mind.
Exactly.
Like, did none of you watch Haynes King before he got there?
Even at A&M, or at Georgia Tech, he's still a very limited quarterback.
Yeah.
His throwing ability is not that great. I know he was able to beat Miami after the fumble when they should have needed it. And he threw that Hail Mary, but that doesn't make him a good thrower of the football. Like,
no.
Yeah, calling him a Haynes King merchant is just beyond funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, so that's that's a crazy take. I mean, I think his track record, like our commenter said, he turned Stetson Bennett into a Heisman candidate. So, and just frankly, just a really good quarterback, like a guy who was unplayably bad when he first started at Georgia to become legitimately one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Pretty impressive. I think they'll find someone. If it's not Lagway, they'll land a transfer. Though I will say I don't think it's going to be like an insane quarterback market in the portal. A lot of these guys are on multi-year deals with decent-sized buyouts from what I hear. So I'm not sure you're going to see like a ton of movement in that regard, at least from like power 4 to power 4. Like put it this way. I don't really think Florida will be able to go out and get like Darian Mensah if they wanted to. I'm not sure like that's going to be an option. Even though obviously I think Florida's a better destination than Duke, I don't think you can really do that as easily, but it might have to be a riser G5 guy.
I was listening to Bud Elliott cover 3, and while waiting for the playoffs to field to be revealed, they're just like, hey, to bear time, who do you think's the QB at Miami next year of these transfers? Because it's going to be a transfer QB at Miami next year, like almost 100%. And Lenora Sellers, CJ Bailey, Drew Mestemaker. I think there were some other names they mentioned. I'm forgetting. And it's like, Lenora Sellers, is that going to be the QB at Miami next year? What transfer QB could you be seeing next year back in Florida?
It's a better system, at least, for Lenora Sellers if you went to Miami.
Yeah.
So who could I see ending? Sorry, what?
I saw, what QB could you see being the next quarterback of portal QBs that are pretty notable? And CJ Bailey's an interesting name.
Yeah, that is an interesting name. He's a Florida guy, right? He's a Florida native.
Oh, I think so. He's at NC State right now.
Almost positive he's from Florida. I think he's a Miami guy originally. Could be wrong, but I'm almost
positive. And he went to Chaminade.
Okay, so I think that's a gettable option. I mean, I think that's probably about the high end of what you could get in terms of like a gettable proven option. I mean, I'm trying to think like G5 quarterbacks who have impressed me. I mean, obviously Mestemaker. We'll see if he just goes with Eric Morris to Oklahoma State, but I don't think that's like a foregone conclusion because he's going to have a market. He will have a considerable market. Do you think
would Mestemaker fit I guess Faulkner fits his system around the quarterbacks.
I mean, it's air. I mean, I guess it depends on how much of an air raid system Faulkner actually wants to run here, because that's kind of what his roots are. But obviously Eric Morris is like pure, unadulterated air raid. I mean, he's a Mike Leach disciple, so that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but I think chat CJ Bailey. I think if it's CJ Bailey, I'd be very excited.
Yeah,
but I expect Lagway is going to be our quarterback next year.
I would say I probably do too, but I'm not like positive. And honestly, I could go either way. I'm fine with it if he is. And if he enters the portal, it is what it is. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Receivers, I think it's pretty two obvious ones I expect to say: Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson. I don't think either of those guys will leave. I think you look at the class we also bring in with Davian Gross, Justin Williams, and Marquez Daniel to add on those. And I think one interesting name, we'll bring up the 3 names that could enter the portal that aren't the true freshmen. You look at Tank Hawkins, who is going to be entering the portal, it seems.
Yeah.
He sat out just a red shirt. I mean, he could stay. That's not a foregone conclusion, but I would expect him to leave at this point. Yeah. TJ Abrams is an interesting one. Saw some flashes from him. Played a decent bit. I don't really have any idea. I think the more big name here is Ada Mizell. Because when
Mhm.
we've seen Ada Mizell play, Ada Mizell is able to put up some really good numbers and have some really big time plays for the Gators. So I know injuries have been a real big issue for him. So it's one of those things where it's like, can he stay healthy, stay on the field? Is he worth the money you're going to pay him? So of those three names, which one would you rather keep?
Of the three,
Yeah.
probably it's tough because we saw the most of VB3, and he's obviously really good. You
No,
probably have.
VB3. No.
Wait, am I
Of
misunderstanding your question?
of
Oh,
Hawkins, Abrams, Mizell.
yeah. Sorry. I mean, obviously Mizell. I mean, Mizell is the most proven one. But frankly, like Mizell
Abrams.
probably should enter the transfer portal unless he's like talked to Summerall and Faulkner and they're like, dude, you're really good and you were being poorly utilized. Because like I think he should have had a bigger role here than he did. I really like Mizell. He maybe could use a fresh start, but obviously I would love to see him stay.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I mean Abrams had a better season than Mizell did. Abrams had
But
14 catches for 202, Mizell 19 for 177 and a
that's
touchdown.
because of usage. Like that's because of who was
It's
on the
also
field.
because of his injuries. Like
Yeah.
that's
I mean, there were
one thing
also
I've
the
heard of
games where
Mizell.
there was like the Miami game where he just sat there on the sideline with a helmet and didn't ever go in the game.
Yeah, I know I've heard some injury stuff with Mizell as a reason why sometimes it looks like we're not playing him. I
Mhm.
don't really know, but actually, last year Mizell also had exactly 202 yards like Abram did this year. That's pretty funny. Just noticed
That's
that, but
funny.
yeah, I would say Mizell because I do think he is that, but I think Abrams is a solid receiver, better than I kind of thought. He had some
Mhm.
moments this year, so I think you keep. I expect you're going to keep VB3 and you're going to keep Dallas Wilson. I think Trey's gone. I'm pretty
Yeah.
confident about
He
that.
probably should be.
You know,
Probably
like
just
even
for
if
the
you want to
best.
keep him, like I think if he goes to he could go to the NFL, or I think someone's going to overpay for him,
Mhm.
or I wouldn't say overpay, but someone's going to pay a lot more for him than we should.
Yeah. No, I agree. Can I drop a hot take about the receivers in the transfer portal?
Go ahead.
I think I'm not saying obviously I would love to have both VB3 and Dallas on the team next year, like keep as many of these guys as possible. In terms of like going back to how would you prioritize the guys we want to retain, they'd actually be kind of lower on my list. I just think it's a position where you can find talent. You can find it in the
Mm-hmm.
portal. Florida has high school, obviously another blue chip guy coming in. They're really good players, and I think you want them on the team. Don't get me wrong. It's just like you can replace one of those guys. Like if you told me you can only keep one of Dallas or VB3, you can replace the other one a lot easier than you can replace a Jaden Baugh or a Jaden Woods. Like in my opinion.
Yeah, Bubba Finnerty, come get me Cam Coleman.
Yeah,
I
like I'm
don't
not sure
suspect
he'll
that.
be there, but there are options like that in the portal at receiver every year.
You think there's a Cam Coleman in? I think you're
Maybe not
undervaluing Cam
maybe not a
Coleman.
Cam Coleman. Maybe that's a little bit higher end. But like honestly, frankly, like I mean, I don't want to say like there's better than Cam Coleman, but there's more proven than Cam Coleman. I mean, there are 1,000-yard receivers that will be ending up in the portal.
Yeah, we'll see. Moving on from receiver, the O line. We lose 3 starters. You bring back Jones and Harris, Najee Harris, and Bryce Levette started a couple of games, like the first couple of games this year and played a bit last year. I don't know if anyone. I mean, you have to keep your alignment because it's so hard to get good alignment out of the portal. So it's more you got to develop and keep your own guys. But is there anyone in particular on this O line that you're like, hey, we have to keep him? Probably Westfall, if anyone.
I mean, what would lead you to be like, we have to keep Westfall? Like just being real. Like,
His high school ranking, like
yeah,
if
I
you're
mean,
replacing Westfall, it's like it's hard to get good alignment out of the portal.
yeah.
So it's like keep your highly rated guy. I mean, he was a backup to Austin Barber, who's going to be an NFL player. So it's like you can't be like he didn't play, and that's the reason he must not be good. But I don't really necessarily look at anyone else on this O line Yeah, I think you have some good backup players. Kearney will probably start next year unless he transfers.
Mm-hmm.
You have TJ Dice, who is a 4-star. You still have Marcus Maskell, and Jason Zandamela. So it's like you keep these guys, and on paper, on talent wise, it's a pretty solid unit, but it's a lot of unproven. Like I would suspect we're gonna go into the portal to get a couple of linemen.
Yeah, I think that is the area on the roster where we will be the most aggressive in the portal.
Yeah. Next, tight ends. Just let them anyone. I don't really care.
No, they can all walk. No disrespect, but there's no one that's like. I'd rather go get like anybody out of the portal. Find me any portal tight end who's produced. Also, hopefully we'll be seeing a lot less of them. Hopefully we won't be seeing as many of them next year. So,
yeah, unless we get some great ones in the portal.
Well, and even then, I still don't want to see that much 12 personnel. Even if we have a really good portal tight end, we can do that in like 11 personnel. That's fine.
Yeah, I get to that in a minute. Is that the offense? Yeah, that's the offense. Looking at the defense, I think your corners. I think Denson might be gone. I don't know if that tweet was real, but it seems like it may have been real, the one he posted and deleted. Yeah. And it's anything can happen, but I don't know if I see a way back from that tweet. So you're probably gonna have to go and get another nickel in the portal.
Yeah,
and there's actually a name I've heard
pretty heavily too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the safety room / nickel, like you're gonna return. You probably return Ben Hanks. I don't think he'll leave. Dijon, we'll see. Like Javari Flowers. You also bring in CJ Barona.
Are those guys ready? Like, do you think like Flower? I mean, have you seen enough from Flowers and Hanks to be like, we're good?
I think they're they're talented enough to where you got to take a chance on them. Like, I wouldn't be mad if we went out and got a player or two in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think I think Dijon, if he's healthy, is good to where you don't have to replace him. And then with Cormani, if he stays, and then Ben Hanks, Javari Flowers, Jamrock Grimesley, you bring in Brona, like if you can't develop those guys, then our recruiting at corner has been really weird. Because those are
Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
I was saying, for what it's worth, Cormani was one of the guys in that On3 report that was listed as a guy who could pursue transfer options. And by that, I mean just like they're going to see what their market is, like is basically what they're saying. Not like they're planning to transfer, just like they might look into it.
Flowers and Hank are nasty. I mean, they played well against FSU. But
yeah,
that's one
they
game.
improved. They improved throughout the year. Some of the early returns on them were not great. But I mean, again, it's like Flowers, like
they're freshmen.
If Flowers is getting beat by SEC receivers when he's like 17 or whatever, starting at DB, like, okay, like, is what it is.
I think the bigger question is at safety. I mean, Castell can walk. He can go to James Madison with Billy Bob and boys, but Bryce Thornton, I think. Yeah. Cam Waite's out of eligibility.
Oh, is he? Oh, never mind.
No, who was I saying? Jordan Castell can walk. Bryce Thornton, I think, is someone you want to keep, veteran leader in the locker room, a good player. Not saying you have to go all out to keep him, but
yeah,
the safety room's thin. Because you're gonna have Hilton Stubbs, who I don't think Hilton's slow. We'll see if he can overcome that, but you have him, plus you have Bryce Thornton, and is that it? Because Lagonza plays nickel.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe if Lagonza playing safety is not an option, then yeah, that's basically where you're at.
We got 2 freshmen. You can't count on freshmen to guarantee you playing time. Like, I expect we're gonna take 2 safeties at least.
Yeah, but DB is one where you can like at least maybe they can get on the field. Like it's a lot less likely for like defensive linemen than it is for DBs.
Yeah, you can supplement a lot more DBs than you can D linemen. And then you look at linebacker. Graham is going to be returning. Like that's not a question. That's a statement. But But then you look besides him, Pub Howard. I think I heard the injury he suffered really set him back, and
Also
I don't
mentioned
know.
in the On3 report as a guy who could explore the portal.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Pup Howard. He was a great player last year. That injury, though, from what I've heard and what we saw, because he didn't play out this year like at all. He in the first couple of games, but didn't really play any after that. Jaden Robinson's a above replacement level player. You can keep him great. Aaron Childs. Yes, Aaron Childs. I had it right the other day, but no. Childs, if you can keep him, I don't know what his ideological signs are to go back up north, or if he's a Florida guy now. But if you can keep him, he's shown some flashes. Then you have Ty Jackson, and then you bring in Malik Morris. Is that the entire room, or am I missing someone? Miles Johnson.
Okay.
So if you lose somebody, maybe you might need another linebacker in the portal, but you do have a couple guys there that are good enough to make a full rotation. So I feel comfortable there. And outside of Graham, what guy would you want to keep the most? I'd probably say Ty Jackson.
Yeah, probably just because of the potential. I think because of the potential. I will say I think this is an area where you're probably adding a transfer or two, even with keeping Miles Graham, because I actually forgot to. Not only was Pup Howard mentioned as a guy who could explore the portal, Jaden Robinson was as well. So both of them are considered, according to their report. I mean, again, I'm just the messenger here. I don't know. I don't have any insight in particular. That's just what I believe it was Zach Appleberry who reported. So we'll see what ends up coming of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see a little bit of attrition. Maybe need to go get, if not a starter, get some depth there at linebacker. But yeah, I mean, obviously Miles is the one you really want to keep. I mean, I think Childs would be nice because I think he's still got potential, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Miles Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you want to keep some of these. I think I would prioritize the young guys here because I think you can portal a veteran if you need to, but keep the young talent on the roster.
Yeah, and finish off here with the defensive line room. You lose Banks, you lose Sapp, and then it's a lot of young guys. You have Jamari Lyons, who does Lyons have 1 year of eligibility left or two? One.
I think he's a redshirt junior, so I think one.
So 1 year. I mean, I don't know if Lyons is going to have some major portal attraction. Or did I say, yeah, Lyons is not going to have some major portal attraction. I mean, he's a solid name to keep in that room, you know. And Barreau is a good player. You probably want to keep him. He's a sophomore. Not like a one more year and he's done. Probably again for 2 more years if he stays. So wouldn't mind keeping him. It's really about the young guys there. And Joseph Mbachu, Jeremiah McLeod, and then at the defensive end spot with Jalen Wiggins and Kofi Asare is shown a little bit. He's not even young; only has 1 year of eligibility left, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But and Cam James. But really, you're focused on those young guys, specifically Jeremiah McLeod and Joseph Mbachu. I thought they showed a lot this season that makes you want to keep them, especially when you look at defensive tackle. It's like the offensive line. Not many guys are plus attributes. Oh, you also have Brendan Bett, who also showed.
Borrow? Did I miss when you said?
Did.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So you have a bunch of good players there, young players there. So you probably want to keep them, for the future.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think maybe that is a concern going into next year, just because if that's what you're working with, it kind of requires someone to pop. Like you're not really returning a lot of star talent. There.
I have heard about one name, a Kentucky D lineman who is really good this year, whose name is escaping my mind. Defensive tackle.
Not the guy who was a transfer addition for them this year, right?
Because
they added a transfer who re-entered the portal and was not very good, from what I could tell.
No, he was a good player. He was okay. Here I can pull his name up right here. Like I think Was it Tavian Gatson? It may have been Tavian
I'm not
Gatson.
sure, to be honest.
He was like I think he was like a top 15 D tackle in on PFF in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember if it was him, but that's a name I've heard that could be. There was also an FIU nickel who I've heard is also a name to look out for in the portal. I'm pretty sure he already entered. Or well, he's not entered, but he announced he's going to enter into the portal.
Yeah.
So, we talked our two like biggest needs probably on defense, nickel and our safety, and defensive line. So two guys there that I'm hearing a little bit about there. And I think one other thing, we forgot to even mention Aaron Gates. Can he stay healthy? It's just we don't know.
Yeah. I would say you probably can't bank on it, right? Like you probably have to kind of operate like you don't have him. And then if you do, that's a nice boost.
That's probably exactly what you have to do. I guess that'll be that for that segment right there. JLB, hi Tyler. It's great to see you guys on. Do you guys know why, I guess, Ball wasn't at the presser, but all the other big guns were? I mean, I don't. It's the end of season. We don't have any more games. Maybe he was home for the holiday or something.
Were all the other big guns there? Like were they? I mean, I know like Lagway was. I know Miles Graham was. Were like all
VB3
those guys
and Dallas Wilson were.
Okay. Dallas was
and
too?
Woods.
I saw VB3. I'm not sure I knew Dallas was there.
Dallas, well, I'm pretty sure Dallas Wilson was there. Because I'm pretty sure I saw him on his like scooter thing.
Okay.
Is that's not Dallas Wilson. That's a Dallas Wilson fan account. But no, I'm pretty confident he was there. But I don't know why. I mean, I know he tweeted after it and some pro stuff that makes you think he's going to be returning. And from what I've heard, we've worked out deals. Anything can happen, but maybe it just was a timing thing. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's something that's going to change your opinion. But yeah, we figured that out, JLB.
Yeah.
And yeah, Brian Fisher, Dallas was there.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Baugh, you're just gonna have to pay. Like, I think it's just I think Baugh is the other ones. I think a lot of those guys are just Gators, and you're probably in a good position because of that. I'm not saying Baugh is like not, but Baugh could go make millions at Bama next year, or he is that kind of player. So
do you think Bama would have had
Bama team that had -3 rushing yards?
That's what I was just about to say. Do you think Bama would have had -3 rushing yards if they had Jaden Ball?
Probably not. I mean, granted, they are also without their top 2 running backs right now. So to be 1,000,000% fair, but still.
Brian, most of these guys are locked with NIL. No, nobody really leaves. We been sorry and only lost one big time guy in ETN. Yeah, I mean, the only other name you can mention is Princely, but I think that was a mutual beneficial leaving for that one.
Yeah, I think the days of I think that was kind of a brief period of time where you would see a coaching change and then 30 guys enter the portal, unless they're following that coach to a new job. Because that's what West Virginia basically just portaled Jacksonville State's entire team when they hired Rich Rod. That's a different situation.
See, West Virginia, 49 commits.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be 50 now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I genuinely want to look this up because
there are some really fake classes this year because they're just absolutely massive. If you look in the top 25, there are some not good classes that are just huge. Yeah.
I mean, FSU's above us with 13 more commits, 14 more commits, and they're 2 points above us. Washington with 25, this is a good Washington class. I mean, 25 isn't crazy. What am I saying? I mean, USC doesn't have the best class in the country. I don't care. With 35 commits, Bama jumps up number 2. I thought they were 7. But you mentioned it. North Carolina with 39 commits. West Virginia is still at 49. Only 49, so don't worry about them.
Yeah.
That's it for that. Army. Do you see how many commits Army has?
Dude, I actually did. Yeah, because the service academies, they're all on scholarship, every student there. So they're not really limited to money or scholarship figures. They can kind of take as many guys as they want. So that's a little bit different, but still.
Still no 9 stars.
The 9 stars are coming. The 9 stars are coming.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta get the
West
coordinators in the
Virginia,
building.
45 3 stars.
Yeah.
That's a once in a generation stat, -3 rushing yards. I didn't mind seeing that at all.
I mean, it was all Ty Simpson's sack yardage. Like they weren't actually going backwards that much, but yeah.
I guess while we're talking a little national here, do we just want to make some college football playoff predictions? Just
Yeah,
real
let's do
quick,
it.
rattle
Do you
them
want
off.
to
I
do?
will
Are you
say
just doing like first round or like bracket
we'll
predictions?
do the whole thing. We'll do both.
Okay.
Tyler did win our prediction game by 2. I didn't calculate the final scores, but I know he won by 2 points. It sucks because I wanted to pick Tulane, but Natsuno was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take the underdog here, and I'll give you Tulane, and or I'll give you the favorite in North Texas." Even though I think it was worth noting, North Texas had played one other team that was like pretty talented in USF, and they got blown out, and then they played Tulane. And, pretty much got blown out in that one as well. So,
can I just say real quick, though, genuinely really impressive defensive performance by our new coach team in that game. I mean, Tulane's defense, I know Summerall's a defensive guy. Tulane's defense, not good this year. Has not been good at all. They went out and just absolutely punked the best offense in the FBS. I mean, really, really impressive stuff.
Yep. Wonder if any of those defensive players. I know they had a safety. You had like a fantastic game.
Yeah,
Jack
I can't pronounce his last name, but the guy who had the pick. Yeah, he's a guy to watch. I think he's someone I would keep an eye on. Not reporting, just
yeah. But I mean, Kennesaw State won their title game. I remember you picked against that, and Kennesaw State was the favorite, and you just gave it to me. So.
Yeah, I went 1 out of 3 on these teams played like 3 weeks ago and it was a blowout. What's going to be different this time? Wait, did Jacksonville State win or lose? I've like already forgotten.
Kennesaw State won.
Kennesaw State won. Okay, so I got okay. Yeah, so I got Duke and Kennesaw wrong and then I got BYU right because they got destroyed.
Yeah, you picked Texas. We both picked Texas Tech in that game.
Yeah.
But really came down. I mean, and then we both just got Indiana, Ohio State wrong. I mean, shout out Indiana. Like this is never before seen territory for Indiana.
No, there's zero fluky about it. They
are
probably not my pick to win the national championship, but like they are 1,000,000% a contender, and they maybe should be the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, they beat Ohio State, who was the favorite. I mean, they beat Ohio State in a non-fluky manner. They beat Oregon in a non-fluky manner. Like, they should be the favorite, but, like, there is something that's just keeping us in the back of our mind from picking them as the favorite.
I mean, I'm picking Ohio State to win the Nat. I still think Ohio State is going to win the whole thing. I think they're going to be fine. But I'm willing to say it might be, if it's not them, it might be Indiana. I don't know if there's anyone else that's at that level. Maybe Texas Tech, maybe Georgia. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I believe that. Yeah.
I hate the way they did the schedule. Friday night, Alabama going to Oklahoma. It's a night game in Gaylord. I mean, I don't mind because it's a night game, but like, I don't know. I think Tulane Ole Miss would have been a great Friday night game instead. Because it's not. I mean, we'll get into our picks there, but like, I hate that they also made the Miami A&M game noon.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because the final 2 games, I mean, Ole Miss, Tulane could be close. Who knows the coaching stuff there? But I mean, Oregon, we'll just pick this one right now. Oregon's going to obliterate James Madison. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yes, that will be biblical.
So that being the last
James
game.
Madison, but yeah.
Yeah, so this being the night game is, I don't know. I don't like that at all. But yeah, they're going to win pretty easily in my mind and yours. So we both got James Madison moving on. Alabama.
No. We both have Oregon moving on.
You're right. No, we both have Oregon moving on. I mean, hey, last time James Madison was a 12 seed playing a Big Ten team, they upset Wisconsin in the NCAA tournament.
True.
And so maybe we're sleeping on the Dukes. Next game I'll pick Alabama at Oklahoma. Oklahoma won at Alabama earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama just got shut down by Georgia. Alabama's kind of sliding right now. They escaped a close game against Auburn. And for that reason, I'm picking Alabama.
I like it. I think that's probably the smart pick, just because it's hard to beat a team twice, and I don't think Oklahoma is that good. I think they're surviving by the skin of their teeth in all these close games because their defense is good and their offense is not. I don't believe in Alabama, though. I really don't. I think I don't like the way they're trending at all. They can't run the ball at all. I don't think their defense is great. I think it's just good. And I think, frankly, like, I don't think Ty Simpson really has it all that much, if I'm being honest. I think I don't know. I was a big Ty Simpson guy earlier in the year. What I've seen the last few weeks has me not super fired up. Man, it's hard to beat a team twice, and I don't think Oklahoma's offense is good at all, but like, I think they'll win another super ugly rock fight kind of game here.
I just look at that last game. Alabama doubled Oklahoma up on yards. 3-0 turnover ratio, if I'm not mistaken. It was something like that for Oklahoma to win that. And I think Bama's going to catch a break here and get the win. And I think that Alabama-Indiana game in the Rose Bowl, Alabama-Indiana in the Rose Bowl, that sounds weird.
Am I crazy that I think Indiana would crush them? Like, I genuinely think Indiana would probably crush them.
Well, you picked Oklahoma, didn't you?
Yeah, and in my bracket, they're not getting there. I'm just saying hypothetically. I think
that's what I was going to say. If you think so, I can't. I'll get into my Alabama-Indiana pick later, but yeah, and what Brian said here, what's in the back of your mind is Indiana's roster is not going to win it. I saw their roster was ranked as in the 70s.
I think that. I don't know that. I think that.
Yeah, that's what's in the back, because I said earlier, like, we know there's something in the back of our mind telling us not to pick Indiana, and Brian Fish, like, he's just saying that's what it is.
No, yeah.
Tulane at Ole Miss, 3:30 on HBO Max, on TNT or HBO Max. This is interesting. Maybe it's the bias because we're rooting for a coach. I'm not saying Tulane's going to win. I'll say I'm picking Ole Miss to win, but how do they look with all this coaching disarray?
Yeah, that is like the reason you have to be, I think, a little cautious here, because they absolutely killed them when they played in the regular season. It wasn't even close. So that, like, I'm inclined to just be like, yeah, they're going to kill them. Like, I don't really, but yeah, you do have to take in, what's that?
So I couldn't fault you for saying that.
Yeah, but I think you do have to factor in, first of all, Tulane playing pretty well right now, playing, I think, their best football right about now.
Yeah, just shut down another great offense.
Yeah, and Ole Miss, who knows? Like, who knows what this offense looks like? Charlie Weiss, I guess, is calling the plays in this game. But, like, yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be closer than it was the first time. I still think Ole Miss wins, but I think they win a game that, like, is surprisingly close.
Tulane covers with no lane.
Is there a spread on this one?
16.5.
That's like right on the edge of what I would say they'd cover. That's like right around.
What I think is, if this is like a close 4-quarter game, do you take the talent of Ole Miss or do you take the coach? I don't think it's crazy to say John Summerall is a better coach than Pete Golding, a head coach, that is. But like, do you take the head coaching or do you take the players? Like, if it's a close game, who are you more confident in?
If it's a close game midway through the fourth quarter, I'm taking Tulane, because if that's the case, it means that Ole Miss has not done the things to dominate the way they dominated the first game. And if they don't, and if Tulane's defense plays better, and if, Ole Miss gives up, some plays in the passing game to this team, it's not exactly like an explosive passing offense, then I think that's probably, like, if it's a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, that probably bodes really well for Tulane.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're both taking Ole Miss there. And hopefully it's a close game. All right. Next game, maybe the game I'm most excited about, most interesting game. Miami travels to College Station. A&M a 4-point favorite. So basically a 50-50 game with A&M getting the home field. I mean, Miami's a bit lucky this is a noon game or 11 o'clock game and not a night game. But, that place, College Station is going to be rocking anyways for a playoff game there. But this is a tough game to pick.
It is.
I don't really trust either team here. I trust their defenses, but I don't trust their offenses. I think I'm going to take A&M in a close game, and I'm going to take A&M because I trust Carson Beck just a little bit less. Like, I think Beck's more likely to.
You trust him less than Marcel Reed?
Is that yeah?
I mean, it's not like a wild take. It's just one I'd have to think about for a second because I really don't trust Marcel Reed. I think Marcel Reed is more reckless. Marcel Reed's more reckless, in my opinion.
But, I mean, we know how Carson Beck can be. He can just have a 3-interception game. And if he throws 3 interceptions, I wouldn't be surprised if Miami's losing by multiple scores.
Yeah.
And also, A&M, could take the top off this Miami secondary. They can beat them over top a couple plays if their O-line give them enough time to throw. And, their O-line got bullied a bit by Texas, but it's still probably one of the best O-lines in the country. Miami's pass rush is going to be elite, but, maybe it's just enough, and I don't trust that Miami secondary. And, again, I think Beck is more likely to make that game losing. I say more likely, but, it's pretty close between the two, between him and Reed. But I'm plus the escapability factor for Reed. I think A&M's going to win it in a close game.
Yeah, I'm basically right there with you on that. I like A&M. I like it close. I like it probably pretty low scoring. I think A&M's offense has actually been pretty explosive this year, even though it's not like down to down and like a super elite offense. I think they'll hit a couple. I think Cassius Howell is going to probably force, if not force like a couple really bad decisions from Carson Beck, well, at least just make things difficult for Miami to get going on offense. And I mean, yeah, I just think ultimately A&M is going to hit like 1 or 2 plays that make the difference here. But like, I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be close the way that like it was when Miami and Notre Dame played. I just think it's going to be opposite outcome for Miami.
Yeah. All right. I guess then we move on. Oregon versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech's defense is legit.
Yeah.
I don't trust their offense. Oregon's defense isn't perfect, though. But I think it's good enough to where I'm in the Orange Bowl in Florida, Miami. I mean, don't necessarily that's an advantage either way. I'm going to take Oregon because I trust their offense a bit more. But Texas Tech's defense is more explosive than this Oregon defense. But yeah, I'm going to take Oregon because I trust Dante more and the weapons he has more than I trust Texas Tech's offense.
That's probably fair. I think Oregon's probably the better team all around, like the more well-rounded team. I just think A&M, I think that defensive matchup is just so tough. I think there's very few teams that are able to handle what they bring to the table with David Bailey and company. Like, I think, like, literally short of, like, maybe Ohio State and Georgia, I'm not sure anyone else is built to deal with that. So I think they're going to make life really difficult for Oregon. I think, we've seen Dante Moore kind of have some games where he's not, like, bad. It's just, like, can't really get cooking, kind of like what happened against Iowa. I think you see something pretty similar here. And I think Texas Tech just, like, wins a bully ball game here. I think it'll be, again, like, low-scoring, tight. I think they pull it out, though. I really think this Texas Tech team is, like, well-built to make a run.
I just don't trust the Texas Tech offense enough.
I think it's good enough. Like, that's the thing is I think it's like it gets the job done. They can run the ball. They run the ball pretty well. I don't love Baron Morton either. Yeah, but BYU's defensive front's pretty legit. I mean, it's not as good as Oregon's, but like it's pretty legit.
It's gonna be a close game, I think, but I just trust Dante Moore and the running back core they have there and the receiving core they have Oregon to win it. Next game, we have a different game here. So you have Indiana versus Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl, while I have Indiana, Alabama in the Rose Bowl. I'll let you make your pick first.
I think Indiana would smoke Oklahoma. I think they would smoke them, to be honest. Like, I don't like Oklahoma. I just have them here because I think that's the way it works out. This team keeps winning, and I keep just not liking watching them play. They look
So
like a bad team when I watch them play, and then they win the game every time I watch them.
I want to bring up one point. Indiana, they played a couple great defenses like Ohio State, and they won the game. But let's not act like their offense was lighting it
No,
up.
no.
And when they played Iowa, again, that was a close game. Iowa could have beat Indiana earlier in the year. That was a very close game. They scored late to win it. It was like, I think they got a touchdown, or they scored in the last minute to make it a bigger score than it was. But like they struggled offensively. Oklahoma's defense is just as good as Iowa's, and I don't know if it's just as good as Ohio State's, but it's up there. Like I could see Oklahoma muddying the waters against Indiana if that's the matchup. Like I don't have it, but I don't know if they would smoke them.
Smoke them is probably not fair given that matchup. You're probably right. I don't think Oklahoma's scoring on them. I really don't.
Like
don't
20-6.
Yeah, like I think Oklahoma gets held under 10 in that game, frankly.
Yeah. Like they'd have to. I mean, their offense is finding ways to hit explosive plays every single week. A couple against LSU. Who'd they play before that? They had a couple in that game too. I'm just not remembering.
Was it not Alabama?
Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Yeah, you're right. It was Missouri.
And then the Alabama Ole Miss game. Like there's finding ways to hit like 50-yard touchdowns, and it's like the only way they score. I don't know if they can hit those against Indiana, but I have Indiana, Alabama. I'm gonna take Indiana to win. I think Bama keeps it close though. I think Bama's defense is good. I think Georgia's offense is better than Indiana's. And
do you?
I do.
Georgia Tech held them to 16.
Yeah, but we're talking about one game there. Like, we'll get into it.
That's fine.
I think Bama's defense is a bit better than you make it out to be. I think their corners are pretty dang good. LT Overton was also out in that Georgia game. And had another player off defensive player hurt as well. Like those guys are expected to be healthy for the playoffs, and if they get through Oklahoma, they'll definitely be healthy for the Indiana game. But I think they're going to be just good enough to keep it close. But I think Indiana will pull through in that game.
So we both have Indiana onto the semis.
Yeah, but I have Oregon, Indiana. You have Texas Tech, Indiana. Ooh, Texas Tech, Indiana would be a fun matchup. Yeah. All right. Next game, we both have Georgia, Ole Miss. I'm picking Georgia here. I think Georgia scores 40 on them. And again, we'll see how the offense looks without Lane. But I'm pretty confident picking Georgia here, no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't stop Georgia one time. They didn't stop them one time when they played the last time. Like, we'll see. I mean, if Ole Miss comes out and completely takes care of business against Tulane, I'll probably be looking at them a little bit differently. But I think it's totally fair to be like, I don't know what this team is going to be. I don't know where this team is where their head's at. I don't know what game day differences are going to come from Pete Golding being the head coach. I don't know. So until I know that, I don't see how they're going to win this game against Georgia, which frankly, I think Georgia's just peaking at the right time. I mean, Georgia is to me as much of a contender as anyone here.
Yep. All right. Did you make your pick for Miami A&M?
I picked A&M. If I didn't say that, I picked A&M.
I can't remember. Okay, so we both have Ohio State versus Texas A&M. This is an interesting matchup because you look at Ohio State, the way they just struggled against Indiana's defense. And A&M has an elite front seven, or maybe they have some elite pass rush, I should say. The corners struggle. If Ohio State doesn't just air it out, and we see them do it on weird occasions. Last year against Michigan, this Indiana game, the Texas game, they just for some reason don't air it out. Then this could be a muddied water game where maybe A&M's able to do it, but it's the playoffs. They were able to do it last year. I'm gonna say A&M, Ohio State wins comfortably because The receivers for Ohio State are gonna bully A&M secondary. Like A&M secondary is pretty bad. Like I like Will Lee, but like Ricks and Chappelle, I assume they're still missing what's the safety who got hurt early in the season? Anderson, Brian, something Anderson. But like that A&M secondary has gotten picked apart by some good passing units. So like, I think Ohio State's offense, if they don't just try to forcefully run the ball, I mean, like you're able to throw the ball and then you line up in goal or in power formation there in the game against Indiana. What are you doing? But if they don't try to just do stuff like that, I think Ohio State wins this game by a couple scores.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you're given the kind of the background and you're like, well, if they don't air it out, I'm just sitting here like, why on earth would they not air it out on this team? I mean, we even saw last night, they could not defend Jeremiah Smith. I mean, they were getting pressure on Sayin, and that was how they were able to stop things, but like they could not handle him or Carnell Tate in one-on-one. So yeah, I think A&M would have a really hard time here. I mean, I think I could see this game being kind of like maybe not quite as bad, but kind of similar to the way that Ohio State beat Tennessee and Oregon in the playoffs last year, where it was just like boom, 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 big plays, and like just not able to keep up with it. Because frankly, like again, I don't think A&M's offense is actually that great. It just is explosive, and it will hit a couple explosives on you. I don't know if they're doing that on this defense. And if they don't, they're not going to consistently move the ball. So, yeah, I mean, I think Ohio State would win this game. Yeah, I'm with you. I think by like 10 plus points.
And again, the last night, you're on 3rd and 1. You line up in goal line formation. You have your 2-star tight ends out there instead of putting and throwing to him instead of your best receivers in the country.
Yeah.
Like, that's just some Billy Napier type stuff right there.
Yeah. Ryan Day does tend to get a little bit too little too fancy with it, I guess is how I would say it.
We're sure it's not Heartline?
I mean, no, but like it's all Ryan Day. Like this is how Ryan Day just is. I mean, they lost to Michigan like multiple times because he just like refused to. He's like, I will win this game playing the way that Michigan does, and it did not work out for them.
No. Yeah, but if Miami's the opponent, do you see? No, I think Ohio State wins that game comfortably too. I think Ohio State again, and it's kind of the same thing there. Mm-hmm. It's does Ohio State try to win the game the Ohio State way or the Miami way?
Yeah.
So
yeah, totally.
I'm gonna hope they try to win it, or I'm gonna hope for the sake of them that they try to win it the Ohio State way.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the Final Four here, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I have Oregon, you have Texas Tech. Both of us have Indiana. I'll let you lead out here. How do you think Texas Tech Indiana goes?
Yeah, in spite of everything I just said about Indiana, I think this is to me like the nightmare matchup. I really would not like this matchup for Indiana. I think like everything you just said about when they've played some actually solid defenses, like things haven't gone well for them. I think this one would really put them in a blender. I think they would have trouble here. And I think I think Texas Tech is capable of scoring some points. Like, I don't think they would kill Indiana, but like, I do think picking between the two of them, I probably would give the edge to Texas Tech.
Wow. Okay. I have Oregon, Indiana. I'm going to pick Oregon. I think they're starting to peak at their best time. And again, like we said earlier, and Brian said earlier, where's the comment? Where am I missing it? Yeah. What's in the back of your mind is, Indiana's roster is not going to win it. The talent, like, it's just too much for me to not put them to Ohio State, to the national championship game. So, and I kind of think Mendoza's going to win the Heisman. That's a foregone conclusion at this point.
Is it? Because I know Pavia briefly took the lead. I haven't checked the odds today, though.
The odds after Mendoza made that third down, like deep ball, went from like Pavia 50-50 to Mendoza like minus 1400.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
I would assume the odds haven't shifted that much since, all Indiana's done since is win the game. And then it's just people betting it. But like, I would expect Mendoza secured the Heisman with that win last night. And that the deep ball there really is what did it. But no, I'm going to trust Oregon's talent a bit more, even though Indiana beat Oregon earlier in the year. So
yeah,
maybe it's hard to win the rematch.
Yeah, it is hard.
All right. And then the other semifinal game, we both have Georgia versus Ohio State. This one would be in Tucson, Arizona, or Glendale, Arizona, in the Fiesta Bowl. The Fiesta Bowl's that's what it said. I think this is a fun game. This was what I thought was going to be the national championship until Ohio State lost to Indiana. So now it's my semifinal matchup, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say Georgia here.
Really?
Yeah, I think Georgia's offense is like sneakily the best in the country.
Whoa, really?
I mean,
I don't know.
I think their offense is better.
They're better than the typical Georgia offense, but that seems like a lot.
But like, I'm not taking them over. I'm taking them over Ole Miss. Like, who's the best offense in the country?
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, are you taking them over Ole Miss? Why are you taking them over Ole Miss?
I think Ole Miss is a very lacking a lot on its trenches, and they have good receiver talent. I think a lot of their offense is Trinidad and just scheme. And I think that can only take you so far. We saw it in the fourth quarter of that Georgia game where they weren't able to do anything in the fourth quarter. They were able to get some stuff early. They broke a couple big plays, but then they couldn't do anything in that fourth quarter. I like Gunnar Stockton. I think Gunnar Stockton plays his offense really well. And the running backs, Bowens and why am I forgetting his name? Their leading rusher,
Nate Frazier.
Nate Frazier is really starting to heat up. Zachariah Branch is playing phenomenal ball. Their tight ends are playing great. They were scheming some great stuff against Alabama as well. I think they're playing really well. I know that Georgia Tech game happened where they only put up 16 points. But, it's a rivalry game.
Really bad defense. Like, just to be clear, a really bad defense.
Flukes happen.
Yeah.
Remember, Ole Miss only put up 24 on Washington State.
That's true.
Flukes happen.
That's true.
Sometimes it just is the way it goes. So I think Georgia's going to be able to score. I think, who has the best corner room in the country? LSU.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I think Georgia's there. Like, this Dalen Everett, Ellis Robinson, they have another 5-star, plus their safeties. Like, they're having 5-star tips of other 5 stars. Like, I think that Georgia DB room is really good. I don't necessarily mean that they think that they can shut down Ohio State's pass game. I don't think they will. But I think it's better than anyone else besides, I guess, LSU. So I'm going to take Georgia here.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I think everything you just said is fair. I think their offense is good. I'm not as all in on their offense as you are. And I think Ohio State's defense will be really tough for them because nothing about like how I feel about Ohio State's defense changed last night. I mean, they made Fernando Mendoza look pretty silly for most of that game, if we're being perfectly honest.
Yeah, I don't think Mendoza is the Heisman, but like he's going to win it.
I mean, if I had a vote, it's going to Jeremiah Love. But he's not going to win it. So
it's going to him or Pavia.
I would not be voting for Pavia personally. I'd be voting for Jeremiah Love. But I think Mendoza is kind of more just like a best player on best story team. So we'll give it to him because it's not a good quarterback year. Which whatever, that's fine. But no, I think I also think like. Yeah, I think Georgia's DBs are good, but I don't think they can contend with these guys. I think Ohio State can run the ball, not great, but certainly better than Alabama can. Alabama can't run the ball at all. So, like, I think Ohio State would do enough to win kind of another sort of rock fighty game here, but I think they'll come out on the other end of it as they did the Indiana game, which frankly, I'm obviously not projecting it to happen because I have Indiana losing, but I think Ohio State would win a rematch if they played, if I'm being perfectly honest.
All right. Here. Why didn't Georgia jump Ohio State? It's the same. I get. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the committee's doing. We're not in the rooms. Like, nothing else we can really say about it.
It's just inconsistency, too, because they chose not to punish Ohio State or Alabama, but did punish BYU. It's hard to keep track of how they approach these things.
Yeah. All right, our national championship games in Miami. I have Georgia versus Oregon. You have Ohio State, Texas Tech. Wow, I think Texas Tech's gonna get fraud checked here.
I don't. I really don't think they're a fraud. I think they're a legit contender. I don't think they're good enough to win it all, but I think they're good enough to get there, which I guess I just gave away my pick a little bit. But
yeah, now we know you're picking Tulane to win it all, but no.
Yeah.
So you have Ohio State, and looking at the matchup of Texas Tech versus Ohio State, the corners for Texas Tech probably a weakness. I mean, we don't really know. Not many passing offenses they play, but it's also like it.
It's the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this ain't the Big 12 of old, I guess.
Yeah.
But like the receivers are going to dominate the corners, I would expect. Just can the wide receivers have enough time to get open, or just give Sand enough time to throw the ball to him? But
can I answer Rob's question real quick?
Yeah.
Rob, Texas Tech beat everyone by like 5 touchdowns. Is who they beat. Except for the one team they played with a backup quarterback in which they came from behind and still almost won.
So. Yeah, they took the lead. Didn't they take the lead with like 40 seconds left?
Yeah, they did. They did. And then they blew it. But point being,
they don't really have the great for you.
Yeah, they don't really have the great wins, but there's something to be said for just absolutely dominating everyone in your conference. Like, they killed everybody except for Arizona State.
All right. So I'll pick my game here. Georgia versus Oregon. I'm gonna take Georgia. I kind of think that I kind of don't. I wanted to pick Georgia versus Ohio State as my national title game. I don't think Oregon really should be in it. I kind of look at Ohio State versus Georgia as my national title game. Yeah. Whoever wins that game I'm picking to win it. But like, Oregon's still a very talented team. I just think Georgia's offense is going to be able to score enough. I think Stockton's like that. I think he fits this offense. Like he's like Stetson Bennett. Like, he's not going to be some high NFL level draft pick. Like, he's not going to be someone that people are gushing over. But he makes those winning plays for the offense. He's going to get it to his tight ends. And he has good receivers with Branch. Like, I just think Georgia's going to win it. I think their offense, I think they're peaking at the right time. They have a lot of confidence. They have the best coach in the country. Like, I just think Georgia's the best team right now, and that's what I'm going to end up picking. So I have Georgia winning. You have Ohio State winning. Hot takes from us there.
Yeah, I know. A real wild season just for us to pick Georgia and Ohio State. That's how I felt about Georgia and Bama playing in the SEC championship after all that. No, I mean, I think I'm with you. I think if I had your matchup, I would totally pick Georgia over Oregon. And I think if I had Georgia beating Ohio State in the semi, I would also have Georgia beating Texas Tech in the championship. Like, yeah, I think that is the real national title game. That's that semi would feel to me like, do you remember a couple years ago when it was Georgia, Ohio State, and then Michigan, TCU, and everyone just kind of knew whoever won that Georgia, Ohio State game was probably going to win the national title. That's how this would feel.
65-7.
Yep.
Fun. No, we spent a lot of time there making our national title picks. I say we get into our next segment here.
Yeah, let's
bit of a shorter one. We have a Miami fan in chat here who's having some fun. We'll get Mario Cristobal stuffed Billy Napier in a locker. Now UF fans are waiting on Summerall to turn to be stuffed in a locker. UF is dumpster.
Congrats on another ACC title appearance for Miami.
Yeah, I mean, Manny Diaz won it, so congrats to y'all.
Manny Diaz has more ACC titles than the University of Miami. It's awesome.
Remove Miami from your schedule and move forward. When's the next time we play Miami?
I don't think I think that's already been done. I don't think Miami's on the schedule anytime soon.
Ohio State hasn't beat Miami. Well, good thing Ohio State won't face Miami. We both picked A&M to win.
Yeah.
Also,
they played once, by the way. They played once since 2002, I believe.
Oh. Last time Miami played Ohio State, Miami destroyed Ohio State. These clowns were still in diapers. Maybe.
No, I was 3. Wait, not last time. Not last time they played. Sorry, I was 3 in 2000, the national title game. I was not 3 in 2011.
Yep. Miami is so dominant in college football. Well,
as long as you're not playing SMU, I guess. As long as you don't run into the fighting Rhett Lashleys.
Butch Davis fired. Okay, what does that have to do? Ron Zook, yeah. Al Golden fired. Okay.
Al Golden and Jim McElwain never coached each other, by the way. Jim McElwain never coached against Miami, just to be clear.
Yeah, I got yep. I got this now. Mario Cristobal has fired Billy Napier. Hey, Jeff Lebby got Billy Napier fired. Come on. And what game was he fired after? Eli Drinkwitz got Mullen fired. Kirby Smart got McElwain fired.
Yeah.
What was Muschamp's final game?
His final game was the loss to Spurrier, South Carolina.
Okay.
But the game that really got him fired was when they lost to Mizzou. It was good old Gary Pinkel was really the one that did him in.
I'm here to educate CFB fans brainwashed by media narrative, especially in CFB fans born after 1995. Don't we have more national titles since 1995?
I believe so. And also, man, you probably should check your facts on Al Golden playing or coaching against Jim McElwain because that never happened. So.
Yep. Miami is so dominant in college football. UGA ended a 40-year title drought in 2021 by adopting Miami legendary smoke field entrance as their identity.
Gatekeeping smoke now. Only Miami's allowed to do pyrotechnics when they run out on the field.
I speak real, raw, and authentic. You can't chant SEC without putting overrated and copycat with it. Hey.
Yeah, I think both of us are deriving a ton of joy with both of us are deriving so much joy from Alabama being in the playoffs. We both care so much about the fact that Alabama got included in the playoff.
Florida Gators will be 9-3 or better next year with an easier schedule.
I think it's doable.
We'll see.
I really do think it's doable.
Wait. Yeah, I agree with Harry. Yep. Gary Pinkel had us in a body bag.
He was a great coach, man. Awesome coach.
Yeah. Is he the one who had cancer?
He did. He stepped back.
And he was replaced with
reasons.
He was replaced by Odom, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Miami doesn't even have their own field.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
They own college football though. Hey, they own the NFL. We'll put it that way. No, but let's get into our next segment here. Our final reactions to signing day. Now, we put out a video on Thursday when we got our commitment from
Purder.
I was thinking like Purdy,
Yeah.
Dylan Purder, Deshaun Purder, Dylan Purder. I'm getting a bit confused there. But we put out a video when Dylan Purder committed to the Gators. And we talked about that commitment, but we also mentioned a little bit about how the rest of signing day went. But I noticed, you wanted to embrace on it a little bit more. What are your thoughts on how this signing day went and how this will go? It may be, it's hard to look at it because Summerall still has games to coach, at least one more game to coach for Tulane. And there's not many kids left, but you do have signing day in February. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's not. We really don't have anything to suggest there is. But that's something that you don't hear until you do hear it. So what are your just overall thoughts here?
I mean, first of all, just a lot of credit for keeping this class together, and I think one of the main lines of meltdown when the Kiffin stuff came out, when it came out that Florida was not going to be hiring Lane Kiffin was, well, now you're not hiring Kiffin, so the class is about to fall apart. Roster's about to portal. Well, obviously, first part of that class didn't fall apart. Class didn't really. I mean, it took one loss. Carson Baker. Am I forgetting another one?
Baker and Kekua Amua.
Yes, sorry. Yes, of course. Baker and Kekua Amua. So, but I mean, more or less, like you kept the pillars of the class in place. I mean, it's still early. I mean, we can't really judge Summerall's like actual recruiting prowess. I mean, the only new addition, courtesy of Summerall, was a pretty good prospect, but one that he very clearly had a long time relationship with. Recruiting him at Tulane, he ultimately committed to LSU in Dylan Purter. But so it's hard to really like say where he's at. But I mean, his first recruiting job was recruiting the players already in this class. And, granted, I'm not sure, like, I think, like I said earlier, I think with NIL deals and what these guys have already signed, I think you're going to see like less just crazy attrition following coaching changes than we saw like the last couple of years. But obviously, sometimes you will see that. I mean, look what happened to Penn State. They got their class absolutely ravaged, signed two players on Wednesday. So, and I don't believe they've added any more.
Could be worse for us.
Could it be? Oh, sorry. I thought you meant it could be worse for them. I'm like, not really. Like, it really could.
You can sign one player.
You could sign one player. Yeah, that's true. You could sign one player. No, but yeah, I mean, I think keeping a class that is, I believe, a top 15 class right now. Am I correct?
It's 16th on 247, but 13th on On3. And 247 has us below by 2 points, FSU with 32 commits. So again, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, like 17th is North Carolina with 39 commits.
Yeah.
So we talked about it earlier, a lot of inflated classes. So this is it's kind of been like an average class that we've had since, the Mullen years.
Which is a good transition class. Like a solid normal class is a good transition class. So, I mean, I think he gets a lot of credit for that. And I mean, there's a lot left, it's incomplete marks right now. Obviously, there's a lot we still need to see, and we won't really have those answers until a year from now, at least, or, maybe a little earlier, but you know what I'm saying? Like until the 2027 class really gets built out. But I mean, for now, like, you kept it together. And I think if you keep those guys and you keep the key pieces on the roster that we talked about in the first half of the episode, then you're looking at a pretty talented group of players in year one. Certainly a much more talented group of players than what Billy Napier fielded in 2022. I think that much is certain.
Yep. So I want to do something quickly here. We did it last year. We had a larger class. We took 27 players. We have 18 in this class. So pretty big difference, but we graded our position groups in that class. Now, these can be tougher to do because you have some players who will switch positions, and sometimes you're higher on a player who's ranked lower. So this is all a bit subjective. But I do want to go out and grade this class and the individual positions. We'll start with quarterback, Will Griffin. It's basically the same as last year with Tramel Jones. Getting a kid in that early to mid 200s. Now, I think with Griffin, you're getting someone who's loyal to Florida, was committed the entire time since last summer. So you're getting someone who's going to be a Gator, who's going to be wearing that patch with pride there. Do you maybe, I don't remember what we gave Tramel. My thought at the top of my head would be a B for Tramel, maybe a B minus.
Yeah.
So my initial thought for Griffin is a B, maybe because he's such a Gator. Like, and he exuberance, that Gator energy. Maybe give him a B plus to be a bit kind. But what do you think here?
Yeah, I think B is pretty fair, especially because I probably would have maybe leaned B minus, but he ended up having, putting up some pretty big numbers as a senior. I think kind of improved his standing in my eyes a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I think that's roughly fair. That's probably about what I would have it. I think that's a, very solid, especially for like kind of an awkward position because we still might have DJ for another year. Obviously we weren't expecting a coaching change, but like the way the depth chart was supposed to work out, it's like you still got DJ for at least one more year and then maybe Tramel. So like we don't really know where he fits into the long-term future, but like just to get a guy in a class because you want to probably be signing a blue chip quarterback every class just to be doing it. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree with you there, B. Running back incomplete. You don't
Yeah.
sign a running back in this class. So we'll just move on. Receiver. So you have a top 50 recruit in Davian Gross. And then
Mhm.
you have Justin Williams, who is ranked, where is he? 157, right out of Gainesville. And then you also bring in Marquez Daniel, who had a pretty significant fall. I didn't realize this, but he's ranked 323. He was in the mid 100s when he first committed here. But, he's your big, tall, athletic receiver there, lengthy receiver in Marquez Daniel. Did we give our. So I think we didn't. I think we did it with just Vernell Brown and Nashawn Montgomery and not
Yeah.
Dallas Wilson. We probably gave that like an A minus. If you add Dallas, what is that? Probably an A plus, maybe
Mhm.
even.
Mhm.
So I don't know what we gave it last year. Um, so if you have Gross, Williams, Daniels, I think A minus at least. Maybe if you want to be rude, B plus. But what do you think?
I was gonna say I was at like either a very, very high end B plus or like a pretty low end A minus. Because I think if we gave the class last year A minus, this probably is not quite there. I
Yeah,
guess if it was A minus without Dallas, maybe. I guess that's a little bit different. So
I'd
that's
probably
probably
say it's the
fair.
same.
Yeah, I guess if you're not counting Dallas, it's probably about the same. So maybe it is an A minus. I mean, I think the other thing that makes it to me is like I think this was a better receiver class than you even needed to have. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
again, we don't know. Like, this class was put together by a coaching staff that wasn't expecting to get fired. I think you got to like remember. So, like, based on what they already have in that room, you didn't need to like add a super elite guys, and they got one borderline elite one and two pretty solid ones. So, I mean, I think that sure, like that's no complaints there.
Rob, I would consider Gross a running back athlete more than a receiver. He's going to be a receiver. He played more receiver this year in high school as well. His season's not done. He just won his quarterfinal matchup where he went for 150 and a touchdown. So good for them. But no, he's kind of I'm not comparing him to Percy Harvin, but the type
Mm-hmm.
of athlete, not the type like the type of positional flexibility there where you could line up Gross in the backfield, and just like you could Percy, but he's going to be a wide receiver. We're going to count him as a wide receiver. And yes, I'm sorry, uh, Muiz. You forgot Muiz Tonkora there as well. But no, I'll agree. I'll go A minus here because we
Mm-hmm.
kind of did that. I'm pretty sure the Vernell Brown and Nashawn, and again, Vernell Brown was ranked a little bit higher than what Gross was, but Justin Williams and Marquez Daniels like there, so I'll give it an A minus as well. Next, we'll move on to the offensive line. It's a pretty large offensive line class. You bring
Yeah.
in your blue chip offensive tackle and Tyler Chuckium, ranked 239. Then you have some good, solid players there. I mean, the bottom four players of your class are O linemen. That's something that we're all too familiar with, though. You bring in Chancellor Campbell, a top 500 guy, 6'8". That developmental piece there, that massive player you take and try to develop him into that next first round pick. Janari Carr, just the local kid, guard. I think he's gonna be a good player for us. Just those guards that aren't gonna get a lot of the appreciation, but they're gonna be maulers. Same with Desmond Green. Both kind of country, they're gonna be some maulers for us, I believe. And you kind of take Javari Lucas as a, he's a the cousin, I think his cousin or nephew of the Taylor, Kelvin Taylor, Fred Taylor, of course. He's a solid player. I've heard some solid things. Like I don't expect much out of players in that ranking, but you take them. So
Mm-hmm.
I think this is like a B minus
Yeah.
because you get your 1 4-star in Chuckium, and then you get a couple developmental. I mean, Campbell, like for someone ranked 495, he was looking seriously like Miami, Ohio State. I think A&M is another one. Like he had some serious offers because he's that type of player with that high of a ceiling that could turn out and be that first round, pick offensive tackle there. So maybe B minus is a bit high, but I maybe it's a personal bias. I like some of the guys there. Plus, you have Chuckium, so I'll go B minus, but maybe it should be a C plus instead.
Yeah, my initial gut was C plus. And then I was like, maybe it's a B minus just because maybe the volume puts it over the top because you still landed 5 guys. But yeah, I mean, it's the same problem. Like Florida's offensive line recruiting just hasn't been where it needs to be. They've had pretty good development in spite of that, but that doesn't mean that you're, recruiting at an ideal level. Yeah, I mean, I'll go C plus here. My gut was to give it the boost, but like it's hard to give it the boost for volume when it's basically like 4 guys who are like more or less.
What if we throw in
inside
Hezzy
top
Kent? What if
100.
we throw Hezzy Kent in there as offensive lineman?
Is he? I mean, first of all, Hezzy Kent's the best playmaking offensive skill position player in the country. So I don't know how much offensive line he's going to be playing.
He's a tight end, but we'll throw him. He's a player.
I don't
He's
know
a
if it's going
football
to
player.
work, but man, I'm so excited to see how they try to make it work because he's fun. That's all I know.
I know he was a Russ Callaway guy, so like he would have played tight end with Russ Callaway here, and he signed with us, so he's gotten some affirmation that they'll let him try out at tight end at a minimum here. But I mean, maybe he'll just lose the weight and become a decent size. I mean, do you see Darnell Washington say he's like 320 pounds?
Yeah. Use him like Bama used what's his name? The offensive tackle. You know what I'm talking about? They like threw him like a screen pass and just let him like bowl over
Caden
people.
Proctor?
Yeah, Caden Proctor.
I mean, Caden Proctor is going to be a first-round draft pick at offensive tackle. I think there's a little different there. Difference there.
No, I'm saying use him on offense, like use him in the passing game, like that. Like use him for just like weird trick plays and stuff like that. I want to see it.
Yeah. Okay. So if we'd say tight end with Chuckium, B minus, kind of. I mean, it's basically the same rank as Will Griffin is, but the tight end room's a lot worse. Probably need more. We're gonna need some more attribution through the portal, to fix that tight end room, and I don't even know if one portal class can fix that. But based on ranking, I don't even know if I want to go B minus. What are you thinking there with Hezzy Kent at tight end?
I just don't know what to make of it. Like,
Yeah.
What is it even going to be? Like, I mean, he's fun. Like, I'm glad they got him in the class because I just want to see what happens there. But like, I think it's got to be like a C plus because it's the only one, and he's decently rated. But it's like, are we even going to use him how he was evaluated as a high school player? I don't know.
It's like Tony Livingston was coming out of high school, where he was a 4-star near the same ranking, but it's like, is he a tackle? Is he a tight end? Or is he a guard? He was like 6'4". So I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing tight end or tackle at the next level. So we'll see. We'll say incomplete because we don't really know what to put there. All right, next position we'll go to the edge room. We'll do the D line.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's not enough to separate it out.
No. So we're going to do the 3D lineman / edge with KJ Ford, Jarayla McCoy, and Kenzel Gervil. I think we wanted a couple more names in this room. And I think the ones you have are pretty good. I know Gervil fell because he suffered a pretty bad ACL injury, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a bit unfortunate to see there. But I still think he's going to be a good player. Like, he was a highly targeted guy for Florida, Texas, Miami, Georgia. Like, I don't know if that ACL injury is going to be something that does affect him for the long term, but if I'm evaluating like how I was before the season, I thought he was a really great take for us. Jarayla McCoy, just a big time playmaker, that big upside type of player. It's going to be someone you have to develop, but the upside's there. And KJ Ford is just a different type of player. He should be an elite pass rusher, like. Not many Duncanville players go to Florida, and you're getting one off the edge with his speed. Like, I like the class. It doesn't have that big name, but
yeah,
I think I wanted more numbers. I wanted another defensive tackle, probably wanted another edge. So that's probably the thing that's going to take it down to like a B.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go
You're at a B. You're at a B.
Yeah.
I might be B plus here. I might be B plus here, but I generally agree with what you're saying. I think getting 3 blue chip guys is cool, and they're all like pretty relatively highly rated blue chips, but none of them are out or in the top. I mean, KJ Ford on the composite is 143 in the nation. So none of these guys are like super, super high end. B plus might even be a little too much on my part, but like I think all of them were pretty heavily pursued guys.
You are the positive one.
I know, yeah. For once I'm the super positive guy. But yeah, I mean I think these guys were all pretty heavily pursued. You kept them in the class. I think I'm giving a little bit of bonus points too for keeping KJ Ford because I'm sure there were pushes to get him.
Yeah, A&M was projected to flip him the day before signing day.
Yeah. So that was a big win for the staff. So like I'll go B plus because you retained them all, even though I agree I would like to see one more or at least one of these guys be more like a top 100 player. But yeah.
Yeah, Cody, awesome. We were able to keep Ford. I was worried. Yeah. Ford plus Woods will be nasty. I mean, yeah, I think that could be a really dynamic duo there on the edge in like 2 years. Hopefully. A linebacker is just one player, Malik Morris. Oh my God. No, 247 even has him now listed as a D lineman. Jesus. I know why. He gained a lot of weight, but I see him as a more traditional linebacker, like a Ventrell Miller, like a David.
Yeah, they have him at defensive line at 6'1", 225.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we've recruited linebacker pretty well, so it wasn't the biggest need. So I understand it. Like I expect him to be more of an interior, like true linebacker, like as I mentioned, Ventrell, Jared Davis, and David Reese. But yeah, he's not 225. No, he's closer to 250 than he is to 225, maybe even 260.
Okay.
That injury played a
so
part
he's gained a lot since his 247 evaluation or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe you don't remember, but during this, he had an injury before last season, before he committed to us even, and he put on some weight. Like he was a big boy, and I don't think he's lost a lot of it, but that is why they're probably maybe saying D line here. But yeah, on 3 has him at 260. I bet on 3 is a lot closer than 247 is.
Yeah,
but I think he's someone who's a pretty solid player. Could just, again, as I said, be that type of linebacker. It's hard to grade it because it's just one player, but we've recruited linebacker well. There's some good linebackers in the next class that could also be C plus, B minus. It's not much of a need. It's not that great. Like I'll go C plus because Morris might not be able to play. So it's like you have that risk. So I'll go in the lower end and say C plus.
Yeah, I'm actually going C here. Like I just feel like I can't give it any higher than that when it's like we don't even know what this guy's true position is going to look like, and he's the only one that you signed. And it's honestly, like we talked about earlier, it might be a position where you're fine. It might also be a position where you lose a couple guys to the portal, and you might need some of these young guys to step up. Now, granted, like have some of them on the roster already, like Ty Jackson. So maybe it doesn't matter that much that you didn't get him in this class. I would have liked another, and certainly like a more, I guess, not a like a flex kind of prospect, like a guy who's more of a, a true like a Miles Graham style linebacker. And I'm not sure we've got that here.
That's fair. All right. Next we'll do corners. Do we do corners or safeties? We just do DB room in general.
Yeah, let's just do DBs. Let's just do DBs. Right, especially because half the time safeties play nickel and corners play safety, and
All right, yeah. So we bring in 4 DBs, all 4 stars. CJ Brona, the gem there, you kept him ranked 110, almost flipped to Ohio State, but we were able to keep him. You also were able to flip at the last minute. Dylan Purter, ranked 207, committed to Texas or LSU. True safety. I think he's gonna play safety here. I'm pretty sure. Maybe could play nickel. You bring in Caden Hall, ranked 246. Barely that 247 there. More of that box safety type of style there. And then you also bring in CJ Hester, who can play both corner safety. Again, that's why we're combining the two, because anyone can clearly play anywhere at this point. But it's all 4-star guys, including some highly touted, like highly pushed for guys. You know, Bruno, Ohio State, Purdy was LSU, Bama was going for Caden Hall, Iowa for CJ Hester. No, but Auburn for CJ Hester. But like, it's a good room, solid. You don't get any elite guys. You know, I know Bronaugh pushed into the top 100. Like, if he's able to push up a little bit more, in like the next
not in the
updates and stuff,
composite, by the way, not in the composite.
he's 110 in the composite.
I thought you
What
said
are
he
you saying?
pushed into the top 100.
He did, and he fell out.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay, my bad.
But like maybe he's able to push it. Like you can get one of these guys like top 75, like Bronaugh specifically. Maybe that's like another bump, but I think that's like a B.
Mm-hmm.
Like no elite guys, but you're getting like a couple good ones. Like Hester, you know, the lowest ranked guy, but like he's a Gator through and through. Like he was the one that's like, oh yeah, we're gonna sign him. He's gonna be a Gator.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm at B+ here, because in a small class, you actually signed like a fairly deep DB class, especially for having already signed a pretty deep DB class the prior year. Doing it again, in a small class, like I think grading on a sliding scale here a little bit, because I think like just on its face, yeah, B is probably a little more fair, but I think, like, again, it's like for what this is, like, I think this is a pretty solid DB haul. Obviously, would like to see Bronaugh be at least like in the top 100, but you know, is what it is.
Is what it is. Yeah, but it's a solid class overall. B.
That's
probably what I give.
I think maybe like B, B+ if you want to
on
be
a
like
curve.
Yeah, if you're like, hey, this is a transition class. Guy showed up 2 days before signing day. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so on a curve, I'll give it a B+, but overall, it's like a B, maybe. But, all right, it's time for us to get into the last segment. We've taken a bit of time on this show here, so kind of got to rush through this, but take a last sip of water before we get into this.
Still tied in Sunday Night Football, though, by the way. Very, very vested in this one because of the Jags winning today.
Oh, yeah, I mean, having 2 games over the Texans would be big for us. It's the first quarter, okay.
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah,
and the Texans are about to go for a 4th and 1 in the red zone, so we'll see how that goes.
Ooh, yeah, that's big time. But let's get into this here. Gators have already signed their offensive and a defensive coordinator, and I think without a doubt we can say these 2 coordinator hires are the best that we've hired since Urban.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Like,
I mean, maybe like DJ Durkin and Dan Quinn were both at the time pretty good hires. I mean, Charlie Weiss as OC under Muschamp was like a good hire on paper. It just didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, this is the first time I can remember since Urban that Florida has like landed 2 coordinators that are at the top of the game on their respective sides of the ball right now.
Yeah, so we'll start with the defensive one, get into the more exciting part later with Buster Faulkner. But you bring in Brad White. Almost got that mixed up again. But no, you bring in Brad White, who's had a lot of success in the SEC at Kentucky, which, I mean, we all know Kentucky's probably like the 3rd or 2nd hardest job in the SEC to win that, you know. Now, the thing is, you couldn't credit Mark Stoops as a defensive guy. Maybe he was a big part of that. But Brad White was the play caller. So you give him a lot of credit there, having successful defenses. I mean, look at Florida. Our offense against that Kentucky defense has struggled a lot over the years. Even in our 2020 season, we only put up 31 on Kentucky, which was our lowest scoring game of that season.
Might have been. How many did we score in the LSU loss?
34. Okay. 30, it may have been 31 as well, actually. LSU, Florida, 2020. No, that's not 2020.
Sorry for making y'all think about the shoe game. Apologies.
Yeah, 34 in that game.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the lowest scoring game of that season. But also, I saw the stat in Kirby's tenure at Georgia. Georgia's been held under like 16 points like 4 times, and like 3 of them were Kentucky. Like some absolute crazy stats. So
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking
Kentucky's
about.
defense has been legit, and Brad White has been the center of it as the defensive coordinator for the past 7 years, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, 7 since 2019.
So yeah, they've had some legit defenses there, and I think it's a good hire for us. I mean, obviously Blake Baker was a name that was rumored early. He's gonna be staying at LSU, but how realistic was that? Who really knows? But you go and get someone who has also proven SEC experience. Ron Robert ended up being a good defensive coordinator, but when we hired Ron Roberts, he wasn't even the main DC. He wasn't the play caller coming to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
That was still Austin Armstrong. And I think we're massively upgrading here in a sense. Probably our best hire at defensive coordinator since Durkin. Was it Durkin before Strong?
Rob mentioned Jeff Collins. Probably Collins. Jeff Collins. That was a good. Although, like, if I remember correctly,
Jeff
he was Jeff with a GEOFF. But yeah, if I remember correctly, he was like well regarded at Mississippi State. I'm not sure he was considered like elite, but I guess you could argue that's like pretty similar to the Brad White hire. So that's probably fair.
Yeah. Roberts was the only non-Billy guy, and it's why he beefed with everyone.
Can I say something that's gonna sound like cope, but I genuinely believe it?
Is it positive or negative?
It's positive.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think with a defensive head coach that paying Blake Baker $3 million a year to be your DC, which is what LSU is paying him. I think there's better uses of that staff salary pool. And I think we saw the usage of it with the offensive side, which we'll get to. No, I mean, I think this was a great hire, man. I mean, obviously it made a lot of sense. It was one kind of everyone. Look, it was easy to telegraph. John Summerall has a relationship with this guy. They coached together for a couple of years. They were co-defensive coordinators together in 22, 21, whatever John Summerall's last year at Kentucky was. They were co-DCs together. And
21.
Yeah. So
no. Yeah, 21.
Yeah, 21. So it made a lot of sense. Obviously, guy's out of a job now. I don't know. Maybe Kentucky would have wanted to keep him around. I have no idea. But his coach obviously got fired. So became available, made a lot of sense. I mean, look, he had Florida in a blender a lot. I mean, he had our number the last few years, most of the time when we played.
They put up 49 on him though last year.
Did him? Yeah, I mean, look, 48. I think if there's like if I want to straw man this a little bit or just, bring up any potential red flags, it's that it did dip a little bit at the end. He had 3 top 25 defenses, 4 top 25 defenses in 7 years, something like that. But 2 of his last 3 were his worst, I believe, if I remember correctly.
That also coincides with NIL.
Coincides with NIL, coincides with the decline under Mark Stoops. I am more than willing to believe those were Kentucky problems more so than they were Brad White problems. I think that's a very fair assumption to make. I think this was a really good hire. I think kind of going to be back to a bit more like meat and potatoes kind of defense, I would say. They're kind of a pretty straightforward, like 4 down linemen. Like, there's not like a ton of layers to it, but I think it works pretty well. Not going to pretend I'm like a defensive X's and O's expert, but that seems to be what they like to do at Kentucky. I assume it'll be similar here, but ultimately it is also John Summerall. And, even though I don't think he's ever actually been a defensive play caller, you still kind of got to assume it's going to be his fingerprints all over the defense a lot. So yeah. I think collaborative between those two who know each other and have a prior relationship, but it also isn't a Billy hire in the sense that, it's not Patrick Toney. This is a guy who's been a successful SEC defensive coordinator for the better part of a decade now. I think this was great. And I think if you were going to whiff on a Blake Baker, I'm not sure there's a name you could have, other than maybe like Sheil Wood at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Like other than maybe that, I'm not sure there's a name that I would have been more excited
about. I think he might be, I've heard his name with one of the head coaching G5 jobs.
Yeah, perhaps.
So that might not even have been an option.
Yeah. So, I think realistically speaking, this was about as good as he could have done. And I feel the same about the offensive hire whenever we get to that.
I'll also say it does seem like we're going to be keeping Gerald Chapman. Nothing's finalized, but all the indications have pointed that Chapman will still be the defensive line coach, which I'm fine with. I think Chapman's a great D-line coach, great recruiter. And you look with Summerall, White, and Chapman, like the front seven should be nasty with those guys in that teaching room there. So we got to figure out what's going to look like in the DB and the secondary unit. But I feel really good about this the front seven going forward.
Yeah, 100%. I think it'll be fun. You're going to get some pressure on the quarterback.
Pat Surtain for DB coach.
Is he good? Like, I really don't know that much about him beyond his.
He was a good recruiter.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know that. Like, is he? I mean, if he's good, sure. I mean, it seemed like the consensus from FSU fans when they fired him was like, really, this is the guy of this entire staff. This is the guy you want to fire. That seemed to be the vibes I got from them. So I just, frankly, I don't know enough. Like, I don't know enough to have a hot take about that, but I'm intrigued. He knows recruiting in the state of Florida. That's always a plus.
Yeah, I'm looking like he's a good recruiter that their DBs. Like, I mean, Charles Lester, Chauncey Keenan, Sam McCall. I mean, most of their highest ranked recruits have been DBs. So I don't think our recruiting would take a dip at DB if he's the coach. It's just how good of a developer is he? How's he gonna?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to address this follow-up, which is yes, but that was the assistant cornerbacks coach that's reportedly staying under Summerall staff, whose name I'm blanking on off the top of my head. But they worked together in, I think, last year at Kentucky, I believe. So yeah, I doubt he's staying as defensive backs coach, though. He's probably staying in probably just a similar role to what he had this year, which was obviously not the main. It's not what because the corner coach that's staying was not the primary defensive backs coach. That much I know. I'm blanking on what his name is right at this moment, but.
Ooh. All right. I guess we can just move on to offense right now.
We can hit this. I guess this is offensive. But,
Trace McSorley 7982. So again,
dude, I hope so. I hope so. That would be.
He's a great recruiter.
Yeah. Great hire.
I know he recently followed a bunch of Florida related accounts, including coaches and players. So that's the reason people are starting to lean like, hey, we might be getting Troutwine. And I think he's a great recruiter. And I've always had the opinion, I don't know if he's a great developer. I don't know if it's the Penn State offense or if it's his development, but they never really get that much of a push. And again, it could just be the offense because he recruits at a pretty high level. And I don't know. There are a couple names that people have discussed that I would like more like a Brad White or a what's his face, Matt Luke, or even Sam Pittman. But I would be okay with Troutwine. Like, I know he's gonna be a great recruiter here. Like, I've had questions about his O-line developing skills. Personally.
Yeah, that's fair. Matt Luke is an interesting name. I don't think Pittman would do it. I think Pittman would be great. If I'm Pittman, I'm hanging out at the lake. Like I gave Arkansas about $1.5 million back, so they'd waive my duty to mitigate. I am taking full advantage of that bad boy if I'm Sam Pittman, but maybe.
Yeah. But let's get into the exciting part we want to talk about here. The Gators get Buster Faulkner. I mean, this is a home run A+ hire. I mean, A if you want to be stingy there. I'd probably go A+ though.
I would too.
You go and get Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator. This was a name that was like the first rumored name. And it's the type of thing that you hear when Billy Napier was a coach, like, hey, we're getting an offensive coordinator and we're looking at, Charlie Weiss, or we're looking at Willie Korn, who just retired. But we're looking at Willie Korn. Business. And there was a bunch of different big-time offensive coordinators' names, and then we'd hire nobody. Or defensive coordinator names like Tosh Lapoy. There's a lot of big names that we don't end up getting. So for us to go out there and, we got Brad White, which is a great hire. But going out to get Buster Faulkner, this is some weight off your shoulders. This is like when Billy landed Kamari Wilson.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh my God, you got the 5-star from IMG. Like, that's something Dan Mullen couldn't do.
Yeah.
So you go and get that top OC candidate who was interviewing for head coaching jobs. That's something Billy didn't do. So let's hope that this is a better sign than what Kamari Wilson was.
Yeah, Tyler, is Jawan Sider on our staff yet? Have we managed to pull Jawan Sider yet? Oh, that's another one whose name always popped up. No, I mean, I think that was my first reaction as well. Like, wow, Florida actually hired like the big name that got people excited, that was like immediately floated. I mean, I think there's a lot to like. I think Faulkner's background, between the fact that I think, first of all, his background being sort of air raid, I think that's exciting for all of us, because I think we all wanted to see sort of a shift away from the way Summerall has run his offenses at both Troy and Tulane. I think this represents that. And I think he's proven he can be versatile. I mean, we've seen, despite him being an air raid guy, they've really become, like with Haynes King, very much a, quarterback draw / power based offense. And I think that's a guy who will look at the personnel he has and shape the scheme to fit it best. And that's, I think, the skill you're most looking for in an offensive coordinator. You don't want a guy who's like going to be dogmatic when it comes to the scheme, because the personnel is going to change every year. And he's done it, obviously turned Stetson Bennett into like one of our chatters said earlier, a Heisman caliber quarterback. And he's with Haynes King, who was kind of a college football reject when he got his hands on him, has, sort of brute forced him into becoming a good, really good player in this offense, Georgia Tech offense, into becoming really, really good. So I'm really excited to see what Faulkner can do, handed talent like he has at Florida, because it's obviously something we haven't seen yet. Like, a lot of what he's had to do as an offensive play caller has been working around roster limitations, which he's going to have a lot less of now, especially once they get things rolling. So I think the sky really is the limit here. I think the only question is, this guy's probably targeting a head coaching job, and I would guess if he's really good this year, maybe a 1-year deal. But I think that's a trade-off that Florida fans would take.
Yeah, as Trace McSorley here said, Faulkner will be gone in a few years, though. I think, like, if you're getting 2 years out of Faulkner,
if you get
really
2,
good,
that's awesome. Because I think I'd say probably 1. Like, I think if they're good next year, I say 1.
I would say I hope we can get 3, because year 2 is going to be a really difficult schedule. So I mean, I think we're gonna have a 16-team playoff. Like, I think you make the playoff, and you should be able to make a 16-team. By in year 2 still, but like, year 3 is like probably when you're looking at that big title run type of season. So if we could keep him for 3, I think that'll be more ideal. But yeah, I don't think Faulkner's gonna be some long time hire here, like what Venables and Tony
Elliott,
right?
Yeah.
Were for Clemson and Dabo Sweeney. So yeah,
exactly.
Who cares if your
these are good
poached.
Problems to have. These are good problems to have.
Then you go and try to take away the next big OC. Maybe Cade Bell is a bit more proven in a couple of years, to where he's someone you're actually looking at.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, maybe that's a guy you can circle back on. I think that's a good point, because I think, look, ultimately, guys, like, Florida, I'm not saying Florida's like reputation is completely shattered. Obviously, it's not. John Summerall picked Florida over several other good SEC jobs that wanted him. But I think there is an element of, like, you got to kind of rebuild the image. And if Buster Faulkner comes in and in 1 year creates an explosive offense, other guys are going to be like, oh, wait, yeah, I forgot. Like, there's a lot of talent in the state of Florida. You can get really fast guys and good big offensive linemen, and you can run a killer offense. And I think that'll help you the next time around.
Yeah, but we still got to wait and see who the other coaches are. Billy G could be with somebody who stays. We don't know who the wide receiver coach is going to be. Faulkner, I think, is going to be the QB coach as well as offensive coordinator. So I don't know if he's going to be bringing Joe Craddock, his current OC / QB coach. I mean, we mentioned he could come over here to be co-OC / tight end coach, which I think would be a great move. I mean, I liked what I saw from Craddock last night or Friday.
I agree. I think Craddock on staff in some role would be good. I heard that it's looking like that might not happen. I think he will have options. Like, I think he will have options to go be an OC somewhere and not come be a position coach at Florida. So I'm not sure. Like, I agree. Like I said, that I thought that would probably happen. From what I've heard, I'm not so sure that's going to happen now, but we'll see. Who knows?
But I think the next biggest hire we're worried about is the O-line coach.
Mhm.
And Trotwin would be a big time hire, especially for recruiting, or specifically for recruiting, you could even say. But no, I think we made some nice hires. It was nice to have something to get excited about. So we just got to see how the rest of the staff fills out. And we don't got much to talk about for another month until the portal opens up. But it's going to be a pretty active portal season for us, probably. I mean, it's going to be more active than any other Billy portal. So that's something we can look forward to.
Yeah, and also you would think that even though the portal isn't open until the 2nd, you would think that we're going to start finding out in the next 7 to 14 days, probably. What of these guys that are leaving, I don't know why, I completely struggle to get through that sentence. We're going to find out in probably the next couple weeks which of these guys are actually planning to leave. They'll announce their intention to enter the portal, I would think. So I think we'll have a pretty clear picture what the state of play is going into January 2nd.
Yeah, and I'll end this off here. John Summerall is going to be in Gainesville until Tuesday, currently until Tuesday. So I'd expect we're probably going to get some other assistant hirings in the next couple of days and week even. If Summerall wins in that game against Ole Miss, I mean, I would love it. I don't think it's going to happen.
It would be awesome.
But that's when things can start getting interesting with timing. I don't think it would, but maybe.
He'd be out by the 1st, so he would be done by the portal day.
But
assuming they don't win again. Well, yeah, okay. Assuming they don't win again.
What if he beats my national champion pick?
I mean, dude, if John Summerall wins a national championship and I'm John Summerall, I'm like, hey, Tulane, maybe we just. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think I don't think any. I think that would be. Could you imagine if John Summerall took that team to the semifinal or something like that, or even to the Natty? How would that change the perception of the hire? Would that how significantly would that change?
It would
the
have to
perception of the hire.
Dude, you'd have to be they just hired the coach who took Tulane to the semifinal / national championship.
At that point, it is Urban. At that point, it is the Urban hire. You can basically draw that comparison. That's roughly the equivalent of what Urban did his last year at Utah as a G5 coach.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, that's gonna be it for today's show, guys. We were glad to have you all out here. It was a long show. We had a lot to talk about, and next week we'll start hitting on some end of season stuff. I mean, I'm going to go and look back at our preseason awards. I bet those are going to be pretty wrong.
Oof.
Well, I think my Miles Graham
defensive MVP, so that doesn't.
I was about to say my Miles Graham defensive MVP aged pretty well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But no, thank you guys for joining along. We will be back, of course, next Sunday, same time. Yeah, Jack's playing 1 on Sunday against the Jets, so. Same time as always for Sunday show. But thank you guys for joining. If you haven't already, make sure you do leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It's great. It helps us out a lot. Love you guys coming here. But we will see you next time. And as always,
college football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click Join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.